Greetings fellow mammals, second episode of today, and now we'll take a look at our first sniper rifle and simultaneously the last starter weapon. This marks a small milestone in my to-do list. I want to use this moment to thank you all for the amazing reception these videos have sparked in such a short time. We have already hit 400 subscribers. Thank you all for your support and the nice comments you write. Keep them coming, but now we will talk about this loadout here, and if the SWS still deserves its top spot in S tier. We will talk about time to kill in a second, but before we do, I want to remind you that the goal of using a sniper rifle is headshots, not body shots. All ammo types on every sniper rifle can one-shot headshot at any range. So technically they all have the same time to kill if you hit the head. Now of course, if you miss, having a faster rate of fire is nice because you can take another shot more quickly, but that's about it. For that reason, what you should be more focused on with sniper rifles is the bullet velocity, because the faster your bullets reach their target, the less you have to lead your shots, and it also reduces bullet drop. If we can get a higher fire rate on top of that main goal, that is obviously a nice bonus. With that in mind, there is another way to snipe, and that is to indeed go for body shots. I don't really see people do this a lot, at least not with intent, but should you want to do this, I will cover that playstyle too, because for that you obviously need the fastest RPM. Now let's finally pull up the charts, and talking about the latter playstyle, why not start with close combat ammo? This has the fastest rate of fire you can get on this gun. Unfortunately, once it does that step there, it becomes a free shot to the body. Same goes for subsonic ammo. So if you want to be able to 2-tap on the body at all ranges, you would need to use standard ammo instead. And then we have the best option for the first playstyle I mentioned, which should be the usual way to go, high power ammo. This has the slowest rate of fire, but also the highest bullet velocity, making sniping a whole lot easier. Now let's talk about the bugs on this weapon. Bugs? Again? Yes. I mean, what did you expect? Be honest. This time around we have to talk about the barrels. We have the short barrel increasing fire rate but slowing down bullets, and we have the extended barrel doing the opposite. Now you might be wondering, why did you just draw in those two as lines in here? Aren't they percentage based and combined with each ammo type result in different values? Well, yes, they should, but here they don't. So that means if you use one of these barrels on the SWS, you will always land at this exact time to kill no matter the ammo type. And those among you with a sharp eye might have already made some observations with that information. Yes, the short barrel fires slower than basic close combat, for example. So if you want to go for the high fire rate 2-tap body shot build with close combat ammo, avoid the short barrel. It does not increase your RPM, it actually lowers it from 70 to 57 to be precise. Another neat interaction we get from this bug is that the extended barrel fires faster than default high power ammo. So for our main build we get a double bonus basically. We can get the faster bullets with the long barrel, and due to this bug it also increases our rate of fire instead of lowering it. That's nice, isn't it? So let's talk about the rest of our setup. For the barrels we want the long one obviously, then the short one for other ammo types and close range, but if you want to use close combat ammo we also need something else to not affect our RPM. And because we don't have any stealthy option yet, I would pick the wrapped suppressor here. The ammo depends on which playstyle you pick. I want high power in the first slot, and then I pick standard extended because it comes pretty close to high power in bullet speed and also just has a larger magazine, which is nice. And in the third slot I put close combat for that close range build. If you want to use subsonic and a big suppressor for a full stealth build, I would actually recommend taking a look at the XCE bar instead. That rifle is a better pick for that kind of thing. But moving on here. For the scopes I would recommend to pick something that you can use on all sniper rifles. That can help with muscle memory and remembering drop and lead. I have chosen the 6 times here. I just like how it looks and the magnification is sufficient. I do like the 8x2 though. Anything higher just hinders me on sniping stuff that isn't insanely far away to be honest, and anything lower doesn't provide enough magnification with my settings and monitor to actually be able to see shit. Of course this may differ on your system, so choose something that works for your setup. The thermal 6 times can also be nice, and as a small trick for the close combat build and just in general, in this game, whenever you use a scope with a 4 times magnification or higher on a sniper, you get scope glint. You know, those little sparkling stars in the distance? That's whenever a sniper is looking in your direction with such a scope. You can avoid getting that by using any scope below 4 times magnification. Or you just use a switchable one. Those do not count for some reason. So this 4 times switchable to 1.5 times does not have scope glint. That's why I would pick that for my close range build. Now let's talk about something that might be familiar from last episode. Grips. I have to admit, they do technically work on snipers, but they are still useless in my opinion. opinion. Why? Well, a sniper only fires one shot, so recoil is basically irrelevant. Also, whenever you are standing still, a sniper shot is always perfectly accurate, so any grip that increases accuracy basically adds nothing of value. What about the laser? Well, it works, but does this look like good hipfire to you? Without a laser, with a laser. Without a laser, with a laser. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I guess. Okay, but the bipod, that is the ultimate sniper attachment, isn't it? Well, also no. This is not real life, it's a game. When you are sniping and just lay down completely still somewhere, you will not survive that for very long. And there is also another argument against bipods. Because what they do, perfect precision and less recoil, is both irrelevant. There is something called holding your breath. It is a pretty simple mechanic you can use by just holding your sprint button while aiming. It does have a time limit on it and a cooldown if you overdo it. But for the time you use it, your rifle will not sway around anymore, and it will be perfectly accurate even while standing upright. As long as you are not moving, of course. So that is basically exactly what the bipod does. So that is also useless. But we have to pick something. Well, yeah, the master key, for example. Those of you who have seen my video on that attachment might ask now, but wasn't that thing bugged on the SWS and also the worst version of it? And yes, but as you can see, there isn't a lot of stuff we could use otherwise, and it is still a shotgun we can just slap onto our sniper. I mean, if that doesn't make sense to you, I don't know what will. You might encounter its bug though, because in the second and third slot I do want to carry the HE and smoke launcher, but when we are using a sniper rifle you usually won't be as close to the action as usual, so the need to use both of these won't come as often, so you should encounter the bug only a minuscule amount of times. And with that, our build is finished. We got the fast bullet build, lots of ammo and backup, close range build, but also just a shotgun, because fuck 'em, smoke launcher for cover and thermals for spotting help. That sounds pretty good overall. So is it still S tier with all those ups and downs we talked about? Yeah, I would say so. You can do a lot with this gun, and having the shotgun and smoke attachments means a lot. I actually think if they fix the barrels on this, that would actually make it worse, ironically. But for the time being, this is a perfectly fine sniper rifle with a few funny bugs and attachments that greatly increase its potential, and as you could see from the gameplay in the background, I am far from being a good sniper. My aim isn't horrible, but I usually do not snipe at all. So even though this is not my thing and recording was a bit tedious because it goes completely against my usual playstyle, the SWS still provides a solid performance even for someone like me, so I can't really complain. Do you agree, or do you think it's just a buggy mess and there are way better options, so it should be B tier or something? Let me know in the comments. Give this video a like if you enjoyed watching it, and if you please, you may also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episode. Now that we have finished all starter weapons, we will go through the level unlock requirement guns one by one. That means next up is the AM40. But now that is actually it for today. I will see you on the battlefield. Sorrow out.